in terms of your masculinity, when you minus all the voices,
Mm.
what does that look like?
That's so interesting. Okay, for me, in terms of like a physical embodiment, I relate a lot to what you're talking about in terms of like physique. Like for instance, during lockdown, I've been working out a bit more, and I feel I feel better. I mean, I'm not trying to beef up or anything, but when I see like muscle definition, I feel strong and I can see muscle growth and whatnot. That to me feels I feel masculine when I see that, when I can see my body shape changed and become more angular. Um, like you with facial hair growing hair on my chest and all these kind of things that made me feel masculine. And I was thinking back to when I started um, testosterone, and that was where my confidence started to build. Like it's funny because when I used to bind, I actually think my chest looked flatter with a binder than it does now with my natural chest. And yeah, I'm standing up so much straighter. Like for me, all of these little things, I think about me embodying masculinity. Um, in terms of how I am, I suppose by nature, like I love to bake. You know, I'm constantly baking bread, but I don't feel any less masculine when I'm doing that. For me, that feels very very masculine. Like even when I'm baking, um, I I don't know what else can I say. I'm very protective when I'm able to help someone in some way, or I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure how else to put it. I've never really, because I don't really divide. I'm now thinking even about my personality. I feel like when I started testosterone, and my body started to change. I started to fill out my masculinity a bit more. Fuller. I did hear people say things like you walk differently, you speak differently, you carry yourself differently. And I guess I started to embody it in a different way. But it's something I always felt was there. But I don't know, it's almost like growing into something that's a bit oversized. I've filled out. Um, I don't know, does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does. Did you? Because I'm sure at some point, correct me if I'm wrong, when you were younger, you're embodying your boyhood, and
Mm,
then as in that between that puberty aspect is where the distress is, because it's
yeah,
like you can't necessarily act as freely. You can't
yeah.
enjoy the pubescent years of boyhood that is necessary to transition into a man. So you end up transitioning into a man after you've transitioned.
Yeah, in a weird way, like a double puberty.
Yeah, and then that's when you're learning these nuances, but the drawback to that is that you're doing it with such an adult mind,
Yeah.
which means you're over analyzing and overthinking every single aspect of your second puberty.
Mm,
These are natural thought processes that I believe most pubescents will have, but because we're doing it at whatever age we're at, 20s, 30s, 40s
mm,
for some of us, 50s even,
mm,
you're hyper analyzing loads of stuff because we've almost small up ourselves, we small down our energy. Because what essentially what we did was during those pubescent years, we took that masculine energy, rolled it into a tiny ball, and put it to the side.
yeah.
We just dumbed it down a little bit so that we just, oh yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then as soon as we probably could have the testosterone, the surgeries. Now
Mm,
when we go out into society, no one's questioning us, no one's asking, is that a boy or a girl? It's almost like, oh wow, oh my god, this is the toy I used to play with when I was a kid.
mm,
You pick it back up, dust it off, and then you're like, wow. But now you're like, now you're looking at this toy with new eyes, different perspective, testing it out, but navigating it with the trauma, such a heavy word I know, but I think relevant, the trauma of people going. You're not a real man, questioning your manhood, questioning your gender, especially if you're someone who navigates naturally on a masculine energy, because a part of the masculine energy is to protect, is to conquer. That is a part of the masculine embodiment, and no one can argue that, I think. Women, feminine energy does that as well, but in a very different way. They're about more the nurturing, rejuvenation aspect of it. Masculine is more about the tear down, the conquering, the protecting, the ripping, the shredding.
Mm.
And so that's how we're having to navigate as adults. So yeah, I definitely understand, and that's been my experience. I think I've been able to do it a lot more confidently because I took myself away out of the spaces where I felt like I was being downplayed a lot.
Yeah. But it's sad to me that you felt like. I mean, I think there are loads of people within the community who don't really consider themselves even trans, or they just kind of separate themselves from it completely. And that's what I mean. I get that as well. It's a shame that you experienced that with the. What you said? I think you said like being told like your masculinity was toxic. It's not the first I've actually heard this. I've heard a couple of people say that. There's a I can't remember who it was, but I did hear someone talk about it's almost like the softer side is really favored at the moment, and so
I
if you are
could
quite
give
masculine,
I could give two crap about that, because you know what I've had to learn? I have had to learn that I am not rewarded for that, because that is not my authentic self. What I am rewarded for is my authentic self.
yeah,
Am I being prejudiced to anyone? I should know I'm not. So therefore my authentic self is my authentic self. You looking at me with your eyes of viewing me as a toxic person without knowing me, that's not my problem. Because my
yeah,
problems, after you leave, my problems still exist. I still have to navigate poverty. Because let me tell you something, ain't no bloody woman looking at me right now. When, I mean, they're looking at me, but they're not looking to stay long term right now. That's been my experience navigating masculinity. I had to learn, oh shit, if I go for a job interview and I'm like, hey, not looking very confident as a man, and I'm going there to get a job interview, they're viewing me a certain way. So I
yeah,
had to learn that these voices, they're going to exist after I transition.
yeah,
They're going to exist even after I die, probably. But one thing I have to do is I have to help myself some way, somehow, because there is no helping anybody. There's no helping the community. There's no helping. No, I wanna have a family. I wanna have a family. I wanna have children. I wanna have good friends. I wanna be able to provide for myself, and I can't do any of that without money. But guess what? I'm not gonna be comfortable to go pursue opportunities and experiences if I don't feel authentic,
mm,
and you're making me feel inauthentic. So I had to have that tough conversation with myself and be like, you know what, I'm out. I'm out. I'm on a vacation.
mm,
So
yeah,
I don't feel slighted by the community, because I had to learn that I can't expect from a community that's also feeling pain.
mm,
But at the same time, if I'm hurting, I need to go away, do that self work, and do what I need to do. And also, I'm very conscious about forming healthy relationships with men.
yeah,
That's a part of transitioning into manhood, is being
mm,
mentored by good men. Now, this is why I asked you earlier. Are you not doing the same thing that other people are doing to us? Because at the end of the day, for me to go, cis or no cis, a
mm,
man, to me, a man's a man.
yeah,
Or you're embodying that masculine energy regardless, right? Because I know women who embody that masculine energy, and we cool. I view them just as a man, whatever. So
mm,
I'm just using these really loose terms, but to me, that masculine energy is that masculine energy. Full stop. There's
mm,
healthy versions of that, and there's bad versions of that.
mm,
Just like how we have dogs and different species, and we have more aggressive species and less aggressive species, even within that same species of
mm,
birds, for example, or snakes. So I have a very I'm making a point of my duty to form healthy relationships with people moving forward in my life now. And it's something
Yeah.
I've really started to dissect and work on, because essentially every time I cuss, if I turn around and I'm like, the black community this, the black community that, I have to remember I'm still cussing myself.
Mhm.
And if I'm cussing the guys, I'm still cussing myself. Because when you go out there, you're viewed as a cis man.
Yeah.
So your toxic relationship with cis men is a reflection of you. Especially
Yeah.
if you're saying, I'm a masculine man.
Mm. Yeah. And it's just something I had to prepare for when I did start to experience uh, such a different response from society, just generally. Um, it was something that I wasn't gonna know how it felt until I felt it.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
one of
yeah.
the things I thought about before I transitioned was, wow, like, and I think because of my personal experiences, I was thinking a lot about women. And I was thinking they're gonna look at me probably in the way I'm looking at men right now because of my experiences. And it's sad because I also understood it. So when I'm walking down the street, I understand why a woman might cross over to feel safer. I get it, and it's weird. This is why, in some level, it's hard to separate my experience as a trans person because I used to do that. Do you know what I mean? I can't say cis men fearing the same things that a woman might fear, for example, would cross over the road when they see a cis guy coming in dark down the road. Because of my personal experience, I understand why that woman's crossed over. Do you see what I mean?
So
It's
why take it personal?
because I know, obviously, that's not me.
Right, but why take
I
it
know what
personal?
she's
If it's
seeing.
not you, why take it personal?
I don't know. It's kind of hurtful to know that I'm viewed in that way. It's
Yeah,
still hurtful.
yeah.
It's almost like I've inherited
The stinkiness of the
yeah,
the stench.
yeah, yeah. I had to go through something very different to be here. I was socialized completely differently.
Yeah.
I've definitely inherited it. You know, I mean, but it's a weird one. I don't know.
My beautiful friends and I continue our fly on the wall conversation over at MrBlackBranson.uk/article 1086. There you can donate funds, see our Amazon wishlist, leave constructive feedback, and access exclusive episodes. Remember, share a story, save a life.